Hey, what's up, fans of the Gifted and Insane? This is Marzette, of course, coming at you with another episode of the Gifted and Insane. This is a bonus episode, actually. Found the audio. We recorded it earlier this year, but we're releasing it now as a bonus episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. I know you guys will. You get some value out of it. We did as we recorded it. So, again, this is called Keys to the Castle. And forgive me, I'm under the weather. I know you hear the nasally sounding voice. That's cool. I'm still going to give it to you anyway, the best way I know how. I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay positive and be safe. Peace. Welcome back to the Gifted and Insane. I hope you guys enjoyed that nice intro we always do for you guys. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube especially, we're building up our numbers. We're building up our tribe, as we like to call you all. And again, and as always, thank you guys for your support. How you doing today, Jib?
I'm here in good cheer, brother.
Good, good. I am feeling fantastic right now. I just dropped my kid off to his very first job, and shout out to my son, K-Dub, out there. I appreciate you, man. Your dad's proud of you. I want to say that it feels like almost the first day of school type of deal. And, you know, you kind of see them getting ready to leave the nest here one of these years, and you get that feeling in you, because they're always going to be your kids. They're always going to be your babies, no matter if they got beards and stuff now. You know, it's you're always going to have that feeling. At least that's the way I feel about it. I don't know how you feel about the girls, but that's how I'm starting to feel about these guys. I'm pretty sure you feel that way about the girls. I mean, they've grown into some beautiful young ladies, and they're smart, decent head on their shoulders, and you got to be proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's a beautiful thing. Congratulations on having your son take those first steps towards independence.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, man. I'll pass that on. Or he usually listens to these anyway, so shout out to him. I'm not gonna be shouting out governments today, but when we get down the line, he knows who I'm talking to. So anyway, let's get right into it. This one we're going to call Keys to the Castle. So Keys to the Castle, that basically is talking about how we pretty much turn over the keys to our inner sanctuary, our most precious areas, our precious dwelling, to just anybody easily. And yours truly is guilty of that. And like in that episode, we were talking about find your tribe and how you vet people. Sometimes us big-hearted people have an issue with doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things. It really coincides with that episode as well. But handing the keys to people who are unworthy, yeah, it's the equivalent of, as they say in the Bible, throwing pearls to swine.
Exactly. And even sometimes you can see that they're swine, and you still throw you throw the pearls to them anyway. That's on you. That's on us. But big-hearted people wear different shades. We see the world through, these, I wouldn't even say rose-tinted shades. I think that's a whole other set of goggles that we don and approach the world that way. And we expect reciprocation for whatever we put out. And what that leads to a lot, it did for me, was a lot of heartbreak and heartache. Even if your heart's not breaking, sometimes it's just aching. You just walk around in pain because sometimes you dish this stuff out and you have this underlying grandiose feeling and behavior and thoughts and understanding that, hey, if I put this out there like that, if I do this, I'm going to get this in return. Well, that's not always the case, unfortunately. It is not always the case. And you and I have had our experiences that have brought us down this road, probably led to us doing this thing here. And, cut that. It probably led to us doing this thing here, talking to each other, talking to the listeners out there, and trying to reach people that are like-hearted and like-minded, because that type of pain, it can be avoided, guys. That type of experience, it can be avoided. You just got to unfortunately throw those goggles away and look at the world in a different perspective, in a different in a different way, and it'll be safe for you, I think.
Yes, sir. I mean, I agree. And one of the main things we do, me personally, and I mean, we speak in general, and that's why we have so many people the people who relate to us or understand. Giving the keys to the castle, I think a lot of times what I would do was they're people who you feel like you want to bring along, or you feel like you
Mm-hmm.
want to bring them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's this Mr. Fix It attitude. Like, you
Yeah,
know, like
I got you.
that person may not be the where you feel like they could be, but I see potential in them. And I know a lot
Mm.
of women struggle with this. They'll get with a guy who is struggling or going through things, and they're like, "Oh, I see potential in this guy," but the potential never, never comes to fruition. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I've been guilty of that as well. It's just, and it comes down to a point of low self-esteem in a way as well, because you're like, "Hey, I'm not perfect. You know, nobody's perfect." So you accept people in their flaws. And then sometimes when you're not in the right mindset, those flaws and their flaws like super clash. And then this is one of the reasons why the divorce rate is so high, the domestic violence rate is so high, and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. Those types of things we have to get worked out within ourselves. But like I said before, I was taught first for you, then for others. And,
Exactly.
we make the mistake is like first for them, then for us. And you can't clean up someone else's house when your house is dirty. So you got to get your things in your house nice and organized before you try to clean up somebody else's house and you try to be a savior. I think that a lot of people try to be that quote unquote Mr. or Mrs. Fix It, and it'll somehow, in an attempt to somehow make themselves feel better because, hey, I fixed that person. But you're still damaged. You're still broken. You're still hurting. And you got to lick your own wounds. And I know timing isn't the best in this world. The universe will toss things to you when you don't know you're ready for it, or you don't understand if you're ready, or if you're just plain not ready for it. And you got to figure it out. But one
Right.
thing, one person that you go to bed with each night is yourself. And you have a lot of time to spend with yourself if you carve it out properly. Even if you go on your drive home from work, maybe that's your only sanctuary, because some people have a bunch of tiny kids and they have them like back to back. If you got a 3 year old, year and a half, and then you got like a baby, only thing that the 3 year old and a year and a half, they're just babies that can walk. So a lot of your time is going to be consumed by trying to tend to those kids and make sure your family's good and your job and all this other stuff. Take whatever time that you can, be it the drive home. Don't call people on your way home to work. Put your favorite music on and drive. Get yourself together. Clean
Right.
up your castle. And what we mean by castle is the inner sanctuary of your life, because a person's home is their castle. And if we're talking about your body, and then your body and your spirit and your soul, if you turn all that over to somebody that's unworthy, then you don't realize the value of what you're turning over to this person, especially if you didn't vet this person. You're more valuable than you know, even if you're going through shit right now. The shit you're going through is not the shit you are. You got to understand that. You can get shit on your clothes, but guess what? You could take those clothes off and wash them. You can wash that stuff away. It stains the clothes, but it doesn't stain the soul. And don't allow it to. That's only an illusion. When you get with people out of desperation, or if you hook up with this person and trying to be Mr. or Mrs. Fix It, you're trying to somehow validate yourself. And you need to do that without that person. You need to do that without having this person around. Because people, you got to validate yourself first. You got to validate yourself first. And that just basically just even looking in the mirror and say, hey, I know I'm going through shit right now. I know I'm not where I want to be right now. But guess what? This is only temporary. This is temporary. My shine will return. You just got to clean the dirt off the window to let the light shine through it. But a lot of us get taught to throw our hands in the air and give up. And we quickly, Jib, we give up on ourselves too fast these days. We throw in the
Right.
towel, brother. We throw in the towel. It's like, oh, it's over. I'm done. I'm done. You're not. You may be done with the stuff you don't want to deal with, but you're not done as a person. It goes back to that pearls before swine thing you were talking about. I mean, why would you do that? And then why would you put the swine, excuse me, why would you put the swine on a higher tier than you?
Exactly. Yeah, that becomes one of the problems. And I think people pleasing is kind of like
Mm,
at the core of that. And when you're trying to build your temple up, like you said, you got to have like self validation, and have that those core values and established in yourself, and build your temple and your palace. And once you've built that up to a certain degree, you can't have somebody just tracking mud through your temple. It's
on
like I
purpose.
just fuck your couch.
Yeah, exactly. Rick James in on it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I totally agree with that. They will track mud in your palace on purpose and then stare at you and somehow blame you for it.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, one of the problems, we don't set boundaries because
Mm,
a lot of people we're people pleasers,
mm-hmm.
and you are so concerned with not hurting this person's feelings that you're probably not telling them something that they need to hear to help them grow. Like, hey man, it's not cool to just be walking around with muddy shoes like that.
Right, right. And then
And
read
they may
their
need to hear that.
yeah, and then not only they may need to hear it, you may need to say it. They may need to hear it, and then you step back and read their reaction to it. If they are unwilling, if they're not willing to change, they're not willing to budge, and it's something wrong with you, not something wrong with me, yada yada yada, then it's maybe time to go in a different direction. And the strength that you get from that self validation will take you so much farther. Because you can realize when I know that many of you have reached that point where you are perfectly content inside your castle. Your walls are sturdy, they're up, but the door is kind of cracked so people can see the light that shines from you. And you attract people that way when you're comfortable inside your castle walls, minding your own business, but at the same time being a person about the world, being out and about and just being yourself to the fullest. And you can see how that light attracts you. You've seen people that have their light shine. You don't even know why you're looking at them. Like, it's something about that person. Their castle is clean. Everything is organized on the inside. That doesn't mean that the castle's not lived in, and sometimes things get stirred up or moved around, because it happens. But they made sure that they know where everything goes back to on the shelf in the castle. So don't be so willing to turn the keys over. And I'm not telling you to give just everybody a hard time, but it's a lot of people that are less than favorable that take full advantage of people who have their castles together, people that are strong within themselves, and not someone that you help out because you love them or something like that, or somebody that you feel, okay, this dude is really in need or something like that. That's not taking advantage. That's somebody that needs help and they're getting it. It's somebody that sits up there and has no intention of being better after countless gifts, after countless support, after countless doling out of energy too. And I think we all know who those people are. And sometimes some good people, they miscategorize themselves as that. And we'll touch on that later. That sounds like something we're going to touch on in Pride Aside, brother. That's an upcoming episode for you guys. But yeah, that's what I got on that one, brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, even when you let someone in the castle, it's about vetting people as well. Like, you don't want to be an asshole and just shut everybody out. And some people take it to that extreme, though. They've worked so
Mm,
hard to get where they are and that's why most people, a lot of times you'll hear them say a successful person, oh, he's an asshole, and they feel like they have to be that way. And a lot of people are that way because they've gone through so much and they're so protective of what they have because of what they had to do to get it. But at the same time, you still, when you let people into your castle, it doesn't mean that you just, because of course they're going to be comfortable because you've built something that they probably aspire to, so they're like, man, I want to come and kick my feet up, and you can't get rid of them. Like, now they don't even want to leave. And so if they're
I
making
know.
sandwiches, and like, I didn't tell you, you could make a sandwich, you know what I mean? So
I know.
it's a matter of like reading the room in your castle as well. Like, you have to read the room and vet people, and then you could kind of know how to cut people off. Like, this person is kind of striking me as someone who's a little, might be a little usury or something.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody that's a leech that's gonna take you down versus try to support you. And you got to realize the value you bring to the table. Don't hype it up and throw it in anybody's face. Just realize that, and your belief and your faith in that value that you have will just shine all on its own. You don't have to. It kills me when people like announce what they are. I'm a strong
Yeah,
man. I'm a
yeah.
strong man. I'm a strong. Just be strong, dude. You
Hmm.
know, "Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy." No, crazy people don't announce that they're crazy. They just are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
just
And that's definitely a turn off and a character defect. I always talk about people. I'm about to do it again. This person may know who they are, but
oh
it just
man.
applies to the show. So I was just recently talking to a friend, and she's like, here it goes.
Oh,
And she's like, oh, why are these bitches always hating on me? You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go, do this thing. I'm doing this, that, and the third, and you're basically telling people, you're putting people in a position to quote unquote hate on you because you are talking. I told her, have you ever thought that maybe you might consider that people are offended because you're talking down to them?
mm,
Like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Maybe you should do this. Like, you know, and a lot of times someone's like, oh, I don't mean to offend you or put down what you're doing, but if you do this, you know, and then they turn around and be like, well, why are these people always hating on me? It's because you're driving through the projects with in a Ferrari and you got $100,000 worth of gold around your neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to expect people to be envious. Don't put yourself in that position. You know, yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. That just
Well,
kind of made me think of that.
yeah. This is going to a homeless shelter and eating a steak from Fleming's in front of them and shit. And say, hey, you wish you had this, don't you? And you be like,
Right,
of course they're going to be hating on you. Probably stick their fork in there, and you set yourself up for that. But
right,
we have to be wary of those kind of people, and be wary if you even if you lower the castle gate to let that type of person in. These type of people are the victim slash hero people. In
hmm,
the same freaking story, in the same freaking breath, they are the victim and they are the hero. And you choose one. You can't be both, dude. They talked about me and they looked at me with a scowl on their face, and they knew I was that one, and they wanted to hate on me, and but I rose up and I outshined everyone. It's like, okay, dude. So they hated on you, then you rose up and you shined like the angels from heaven. Get out of here. You're manufacturing importance right now. And when you get with those types of people, please do not let them have the keys to the castle. Maybe they can be a bridge to another person. They could just, be somebody that you totally ignore. But those types of people have a flaw that's probably some kind of a personality flaw that you can't fix. You got to get your own
right,
stuff clean. You're never going to clean that up. You're never going to clean that up. They talk big, they act like they're forward thinking, but they're really on some stuff that you're probably not equipped to deal with. So make sure you avoid that type of person, that type of personality for sure. Because I look at it like this in my past experiences. You can fill up a person, you can fill up a cup, right? If a person is a glass and you're a pitcher and you fill that cup up or you keep pouring into this cup and the cup never fills up, not even halfway, check that cup to see if there's a hole in the bottom.
Right.
Because I got caught up and I emptied myself out and I lost the ability to fill myself again at that time. There was a huge gaping bottomless hole and I was left empty. I was left drained. I had nothing else to give. So if you're a big-hearted person, you need to check yourself. You may not want to listen to this or hear this or, oh, it's going to hurt my feelings. Yeah, but ending up that way is going to hurt for a long period of time and turn you the opposite of what your big-hearted personality. And try fighting your way back from that. It's a struggle. It's an uphill climb, and somebody is pouring grease down the sides of that hill so you can slip. So, yeah, heed the warnings, heed the words. So make sure that you guard the keys to the castle, but don't be an a-hole. Make sure that you clean up your castle before you try to play Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It on somebody else. Now, if both of you guys are the fix-its and y'all work together to help fix each other and build from the ground up, you form your foundation, I think that's a beautiful thing. But it's probably rare. But again, that vetting process will help people work that stuff out. Finding out, okay, well, I'm flawed. Oh, I'm flawed too. Okay, well, how can we fix this and how can we fix this together? Because you building yourselves and building a unit being together at the same time. It's a lot of work. But if you guys got big hearts and you guys are willing to take the ride and you value yourselves and then value each other the same way, you guys are good to go. But just be careful because, I go down the street. Hey, you look okay. Let me throw you the keys. Not anymore. Not anymore. But I'm good now. I'm really good. I think the person that has the keys are deserving, and thank goodness they're not sitting on the throne eating a sandwich, getting crumbs everywhere with their crown cocked to the side and bringing other people in there. Shit. So I think that we're good. So we're not trying to be difficult. We're just trying to let you know, be on the lookout, guard that heart, make sure that you have a good balance of heart and logic mixed in there.
Yeah, and also I'd like to reiterate, like when you build your castle, just make sure you're not building a paper castle or like one of those World Fair castles that looks really good on the outside, but the structure, the foundation is wood and it's just plaster on the outside.
Be a facade.
Exactly. And when you talk about people having an empty cup, that's one of the things that I think that empty cup is really them putting a lot more on display and rubbing it into other people because of they're lacking something on the inside. So like build your foundation and fill up your cup completely, and then you won't have as much of an issue with people coming into your castle because you're secure. You're secure. You don't think that somebody's always trying to take from you because you can set those boundaries from a place of a solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You're not insecure thinking someone's always trying to take, or someone's quote unquote hating on you.
Right.
So yeah,
again, purely perception with that one. Pure perception. It's like as if you want to be hated on. I like to live drama free. I like to live without crap. I like to be able to move in and out of a place and not worry about who's going to quote unquote hate on me and all the other stuff. That definitely does not validate me. And you shouldn't use that to make yourself valid. You should just be valuable just on what you got going on with you and how your castle is clean, is set up,
Right.
Everybody's castle is not going to be the same. Everybody's journey is not going to be the same. And we shouldn't expect that. And we shouldn't base our value because my castle is different from Jib's and we're in different phases of building. And that's not a fair comparison for anybody, So I'm still building, I'm still working on it. And the loved ones I got around me understand that, they accept that wholeheartedly, and they're with me truthfully on the ride. Because sometimes, some people can't come along on all the parts of the journey of your life. I mean, sometimes that train got to leave the station, and every passenger ain't going to get on board at that station. And the train can't hold at the station. They got to go. And sometimes people get left behind. You got to run into some new ones at the next station. So that's all I got for this one, Jib. I don't know about what you got. So you can take us home, brother. Take us home.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, just a level of humility, man, is something that you want to look for in people who you are, maybe thinking about going to get an extra key for the castle, and people who have been through something, because a lot of times some people are not as grateful for what you've built, or may have a idea in their head of what they want to do with their life, but they have not really accomplished anything because they don't know what it takes to build what you have. So they're not as grateful for it. So, I mean, that's all I got. It's just basically put yourself in a position, first of all, to build your castle exactly the way you want it, and just try to have like-minded people come in that you invite in, and just make sure you pay attention to the vetting process of those people before you just give them your heart, lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, we've been using a lot of analogies about a castle in this episode, but like you said, it's basically your heart, it's basically your energy, it's basically your attention, your mind, your temple.
All right. Well, it sounds good. I hope you guys got some value out of this. I mean, just sitting here and participating, I know I got some value. You guys can let us know what you think as per usual. Hit us up on the giftedandinsane at gmail.com, and just contact us if you got the means, and we will graciously accept your input. And as always, and thank you for subscribing and following us on whatever platform you guys are listening to this. This has been a pretty good one. Not as long as our other ones, but hey, they all have their own unique characters to them, and their own lessons and stuff. And again, hopefully you guys got some value out of this. You guys stay tuned for the next one. And I am going to say peace.
Stay blessed, y'all. Take care.
All right, y'all.
Hey, what's up, fans of The Gifted and Insane? This is Marzette, of course, coming at you with another episode of The Gifted and Insane. This is a bonus episode, actually. Found the audio. We recorded it earlier this year, but we're releasing it now as a bonus episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I know you guys will. You get some value out of it. We did as we recorded it. So, again, this is called Keys to the Castle, and forgive me, I'm under the weather. I know you hear the nasally sounding voice. That's cool. I'm still going to give it to you anyway, the best way I know how. I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay positive and be safe. Peace.